Hey everyone, welcome back to Snack Time. My name is Ben, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of my long-awaited toys that I have ordered probably about 6 or 7 months ago, and finally just came in like last week. And that is the Jetson Orin Nano Super Developer Kit. So I want to take some time just to show you the product, and I'm going to show you how to set up the operating system and kind of walk through that and just what it looks like. So if you decide you want to go ahead and get your hands on one, you'll know exactly how to configure it. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's take a closer look at the hardware, and then we'll take a look at the software. All right, so if we jump into it, let's take a look at the connectors we have. First off, we do have a power adapter port right here, followed by our display port. And then we have 4 USB ports, an Ethernet port, and then a USB-C connector. On the side here, we do have several I/O connectors, which can be used for various, I believe, modules and whatnot. Don't really have anything to plug in there quite yet. On the flip side of that, we do have 2 connectors that you can use to establish and put cameras on there, which is kind of cool. On the back side, I do want to point this out to you. This is fun. To get that micro SD card in there for your operating system, you see where that is? It's like right under the fan there. Not the easiest thing to get to or find if you're not looking for it. On the very bottom of this computer, we do have our wireless antenna at the bottom, as well as our wireless board. And one thing that I have added that's extra is the Samsung 990 EVO Plus. That's the NVMe hard drive. It's a 1 terabyte drive. I got that because I wanted to have enough room to put my models on, and also maybe an upgraded bandwidth running the operating system off of this guy rather than the micro SD card. Something to keep in mind though, you can't do that initially. You can't just set up your operating system on that and expect it to boot. It just doesn't work that way. You do have to set it up on the SSD, get it configured, and then or the micro SD. And then once you configure that, there are instructions to move the operating system to that drive that we'll go through. But just wanted to get you to get a little closer look at the board so you know what to expect, know what kind of connectors that it has. And now we'll move into the installation and configuring of the operating system. So before I move in and show you the capability of the machine, let's go ahead and get the operating system set up and configured so you'll know what to expect if you decide to go ahead and get one. For this, I will be using this tiny little micro SD card. It's one from Lexar. It's just a 64 gig one, and I'll be using this little SSD or micro SD card reader. I'm going to pop that in, and we're going to start by downloading the operating system, and I'll show you how to get that all configured. Let's move in and show you that. All right, so let's do this. We're going to be using Windows for this installation, and the first thing that we're going to need to do is to wipe the card, make sure it's completely empty. They do give you the link for the SSD card formatter, and I'm just going to select the one drive I have in here. It's my 64 gig, and we're just going to do a quick format. When that is all said and done, you may get some additional prompts, but all in all, it should be a pretty quick process. We're all done with that guy. Now we need to scroll down a little bit, and we're going to be using Etcher. So if you don't have that, go ahead and download that guy. It's a great program to have no matter what. It's really good at writing images. All right, so here's mine, and I am going to do a flash from a file, but we're going to need to actually have that file before. So before we actually burn the image to the drive, we did skip over the developer kit SD card installation image. We do need to get that. So click on that guy, and let's see, we're going to click on the Orin currently running, and we're going to download the SD image. So this is a pretty big file. It's about 10 gigs. So it's going to take a little bit of time to finish. If you want, go ahead and pause the video, and then when it's all said and done and it's downloaded, go ahead and extract it too, and then we'll go ahead and proceed. For this, we're going to jump over here. I'm going to select from a file, and I'm going to select this SD blob image. Extract it. It's about 23 gigs. So if you are working with an SSD card, our micro SD card. I don't know why I keep calling it SSD. We're working with a micro SD card and make sure that it is big enough to accommodate such a large image. I'm going to select my target. I'm going to select the 63 gig USB and hit select. And then we're going to hit flash, and we're going to be back here in just a second. All right, now that we're all done imaging the micro SD card, let's go ahead and pop it out, and then let's get it inside of our Orin. I want to show you, not always the easiest thing to do, but it is necessary. So like I said, right there, it does fit in that little slot. Hopefully you can see that. It will go, the contacts will go up. And if you're really good, you can put it in there and it'll just snap into place. There you go, all done. All right, so the next step, I'm going to go off camera so that you can see the full board and the operating system as it boots, so you'll know what to expect. And then we'll go ahead and move all of our stuff over to the SSD card. So I've already installed my NVMe drive into this guy, so I'm already ready for that. So we're going to go ahead and boot up to the micro SD card, and then we're going to transition over to the bigger drive with the faster speeds. All right, I will be back in just a second. If we did everything right, we should be getting an NVIDIA BIOS screen here in a second. And there we go. So far, so good. All right, now we are at our setup screen. So let's go ahead and configure our operating system. And just configure our time zone, and hit next. Now I'm just going to select our username and our password. Nothing too crazy here. It can be pretty much whatever you want it to be. It doesn't even need to be super secure because it's not going to be internet facing. And honestly, I am going to pretty much only use it through SSH anyway, so I'm not going to install Chromium. Once it's done configuring, I am going to use the JetsonHacks to transfer all of my micro SD data to my NVMe drive, so that it will boot from that instead of the micro SD card, which is pretty much, like everybody knows, that's kind of the purpose is, you know, NVMe drives are supposed to be computer drives, and micro SD cards are typically for video and photos and stuff like that. But you're going to remedy that. If you're looking at the NVIDIA documentation, there is a section on using SSD and Docker. We are not doing that, but we are going to use JetsonHacks, because that way we don't have to worry about specifying a certain folder for our container files or anything. We're just going to use the whole drive, the whole terabyte drive that I got, the Samsung one. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and sign in. And as I said before, I don't know why it switches to this like comfortable view mode. I don't know, maybe it's something with the monitor or something, but that's okay. We're not going to be in here very long. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and use the JetsonHack to transfer all of our files to the SSD. JetsonHacks has a whole bunch of different repositories, so I'm going to put the link up at the top for you, and I'm also going to just go ahead and clone get the repository onto this drive, so you'll see what I type in. Do not do any upgrades. It will most likely break your Docker installation, and that is no good, especially if you're trying to use it for more than just, well, actually pretty much anything. Like, I mean, you can install them without Docker. You can install these LLMs, but Docker makes it really easy to switch back and forth. All right, so we're going to basically just do a git clone and https github, no, www, github.com/JetsonHacks migrate Jetson to SSD. Okay, and let's go ahead and change into that directory. All right, and so we're going to go down the list, and if you're reading along with the GitHub instructions, we're first going to do, we're going to make the partitions. I'm going to do sudo bash and make partitions. Type in my password, and it's just telling me that it's going to overwrite anything that's in that /dev NVMe slot, and I'm just going to say yes. And I'm going to proceed yes. And then we're just kind of going to go down the steps. This next part's going to take a little bit of time, and I will we'll talk a little bit more while it does this. But I'm going to get this started because it does take a little bit of a few minutes. So I'm going to do yes here, and we're going to let it start copying. So one thing I do want to mention is the device does have the ability to use more wattage and do it. You can use like what's what they call like MAXN super, and it puts more wattage through the board, makes it quicker, makes the AI just a little bit snappier. I won't be doing that, but you can if you want to. I was reading around different articles, and enabling it does speed it up, but at the cost of the longevity of the board. And I want to keep it around for a while, and I'm really in no hurry, so I'm not going to do this step. But there are other people that do it just fine and don't seem to have any issues. That's totally cool. It's up to you. It's up to them. If you do start getting that, or you do enable this, you're going to start getting some warnings, like it's like over voltage or something like that. You can do acknowledge warning, and then I think you can also disable notifications. Yeah, and it won't bug you anymore. But again, totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and let this finish, and then we'll hop back in here when it's all done. All right, cool. Well, that didn't take forever. All right, so let's do the very last one. We're going to do the configuring the SSD to boot. Configure SSD to boot. All right, and that is all we need to do. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and power it off. And I'm going to switch over to the NVMe. Basically, I'm just going to unplug the or pop out the micro SD card. Cool. All right, give me that NVIDIA logo. Oh, never mind. I'll boot right in. Nice. All right, let's go type our password in. And now we should be, oh, there it is. There's my NVIDIA logo, and into comfortable eye mode. Weird. Let's see here. All right, so after that, let's check out our drive. Obviously, we booted to the SSD, and let's make sure that everything is the way we want it to be. All right, so we got 226 gigs total on our root drive with 21 used and 193 available. The problem with that is this is a terabyte drive, so we are missing a little bit of space. So let's go ahead and fix that right now, because most likely your NVMe is going to be a little bit larger than your micro SD card, most likely. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my app store here, and I'm going to look for, I believe is it gparted, I believe. Okay, and once we find gparted, let's go ahead and install in. This is just a quick, easy way for us to go ahead and expand our partition. And there are other ways you can go about doing it. You can probably use the Linux, is it diskpart or something, or is that just Windows? I don't use it too much. When I'm playing around with partitions, I like to have a little bit of a GUI. Makes me feel all squishy. And let's go ahead and take a look at our partitions, and we see that we have unallocated about 700 gigs. Let's go ahead and allocate that to my root here. And I'm going to basically just resize and move, and I'm going to expand this. And I'm going to expand it all the way almost to like full. I'm going to leave myself about 50 gigs to work with in the future, just in case. I'm not going to probably use a terabyte, but you never know. So once you have assigned however much you want to allocate to your root drive, just hit this green checkbox up here and hit apply. We'll do everything in the background. Obviously, when you are using any sort of partition editor, make sure you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you may get yourself in trouble. Let's check our disk space free now. Okay, cool. So we have available is 809 and used is 21. The total capacity of 867. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to my desktop and I'm going to only use the SSH interface to this. I'm not going to play around with GUI too much. There's some good stuff here if you want to look around, but honestly, the things that I'm going to be using this computer for are all going to be done through like APIs and SSH. So let's find out what my IP address is. I'm just going to do an IP space A. I'll see my IP address is 192.168.0.139. Awesome. That's all that I really need to know. I'm just going to, just for giggles, go ahead and reboot it. And I'll see you over on the Windows side of things. So no, you are not crazy. I am Ben from the future. And that is because I did learn a whole bunch of different things when I was doing this video, and a couple of the things that I thought were true were actually inaccurate. So I decided to just go ahead and re-record it. And that's why this video is taking so long. All right, so let's do this. I wanted to show you a couple of things about the Jetson site, or the Nano site here. All right, so this page right here is going to be your best friend as far as things you can do with your Nano. There's a whole bunch of really good information here. Let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and get connected to mine, because one of the first things that I want to do is to do this memory optimization. Remember, we're not doing the SSD plus Docker because our entire drive is on the SSD now. So let's do this. So I'm going to SSH. Let's see. I thought I had it in my history, but I can type it. Fine. Yes, and right there. I'm gonna type my password now. All right, so let's make this a little bit bigger. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is to stop the GUI. So let's go ahead and stop that. Sudo init 3, and that should stop the GUI that's running now. But we want to disable it so it doesn't come back again. We're going to do a sudo systemctl set default multi-user.target. And if you are like me and you're a horrible typer, maybe you should just copy and paste it. There we go. And now we can disable miscellaneous services. That's fine. I'm going to copy and paste this. And lastly, it wants me to set up a swap. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and do this here too. I'm going to take its advice for most things. That's fine. It says it cannot open, no such, removed. Interesting. All right, cool. Well, like I said, I do it and it seems to work fine. One thing we're also going to do is to edit the FS tab. So I'm going to go ahead and FS tab, and it wants us to put this at the very end. Have to be sudo. And let's just insert that there and save. Cool beans, cool beans. All right, what we can do real quick, let's go ahead and reboot just to make sure that all the changes that we're doing are going to have a positive effect. And in the meantime, what I want to do is I want to find the Jetson Containers GitHub, because that has all the really cool ways for us to set up our AI. So it's made by Dusty-NV, and it's real easy to install, and it will allow us to quickly set up and spin up any of these LMs, LLMs, RAGs, L4T, all this stuff. All these are clickable. Like we'll be using Ollama here initially, and when you click on that link, it'll take you to the page we'll check out in a second. But for now, we do need to go ahead and install it. And for that, we're going to be using this right here. Let's see if our machine's back up and going. It is. It's really fast. And let's go ahead and clone and then run that guy. All right, so after we enter our root password, should be good to go. All right, yeah, it's going to download a whole bunch of things, which is totally cool. Okay, right, so should be good. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's take a look at the package list. And what I want to do is I want to show you, actually, let's go back one. Let's go up here, this package list. Let's go for Ollama. All right, and we probably could have got there from the other way too, but just a little bit more direct. So the command for Ollama to run this is going to be the Jetson Containers run name Ollama auto tag Ollama. Let's try that. The first time that we run this, it's going to download quite a lot of files, and it's going to tell us we have to download like 5 gigs. So it's a good thing we freed up a whole bunch of space on our NVMe drive. If you have a slower connection, obviously this is going to take a little bit of time. Mine's decent, so it should be done here in a second. But what I'm going to do is pause here, and I'm going to unpause when we are all done, so you don't have to watch this count up. Unless you really enjoy that. I don't know. Maybe it's therapeutic for you. Anyway, be right back. Okay, cool. We are all done, and now we can run our Ollama. And it's suggesting that we run the Gemma 3 model, but you can choose whatever you want to. There's a bunch of different ones. I think it even lists a whole bunch of them here. Yeah, like we have the different versions of Ollama, and yeah, we're just going to use Gemma. It's just as good. And if you want to find out more information about this, they have a wealth of knowledge if you just Google Ollama. Yeah, so let's do this. Ollama run Gemma 3. And in order for this to work, we're also going to be downloading the model, which is about 3 gigs in itself. So again, good thing we freed up all that space. Check this out. While we're waiting for that to download, if you want to go the extra mile here, we do have an open web UI for Ollama that you can set up with Docker and point it back to your Jetson. And let's see here. It doesn't show any screenshots of it, but basically it looks exactly like a ChatGPT, really. Yeah, so here it is. Check it out. OpenAI. Yeah, this is basically the web UI that you'd be using, except for it wouldn't be using ChatGPT. It would be using Ollama. Maybe we'll cover that in a later video. I'll show you how to set that up. But what I really want to do is just show you what it looks like when we have it all configured. And check it out. We are ready to go. So let me do this. Tell me a joke about IT. Cool. So why did the IT guy break up with the database? Because he said she was too rational. Relational? I screwed that up. Ignore the punchline. Right. So let's see if I wanted to like show you kind of the speed. You kind of got a good taste. Write me an article about cars. So around 700 to 800 words, and there it goes. It's off to the races. So it's not the super fastest in the world. Obviously, it's going to be a lot quicker if you're running it on like an NVIDIA like 5080 or something. But for a small footprint computer that's using very little power, this is not bad. This is pretty quick. And if you just want to learn about AI, this is a great way to do it at an affordable price, if you can find one. That was the biggest thing. Well, while this writes me an article, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think we have covered as much as we can. If you do have any questions or any requests, anything you'd like to see me do with this board, let me know. I am happy to experiment and learn along with you. Well, I appreciate you hanging in and watching me set up this Jetson. And like I said, if you think of anything you want to see, just let me know. Leave it down in the comment section down below. All right, well, I will talk to you guys later on, and take care.